What would people that know me think of me? They had a glimpse into reality, the one I stare at each and every day. Would they be scared of me? Or might they be proud of me? Would they have nothing to say? Hey, 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 I ain't the ghost that you think I am. Hey, 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 ain't no tall drink of water for Uncle Sam. I'm no idealist, I think myself a realist. And how's the world keep spinning in a fashion that it does? Don't none of you remember who you once was? In a world of perfect strangers, love goes to the most familiar face, and anxiety's the most of which in this crooked place. Hey, 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 I ain't the sinner that I used to be. Hey, 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 I sit before judgment with a guilty plea, and it's hard to smile when you're suicidal. I turn on my family's horses into glue just for one more good look at you. I'm scared of what I might see, and I'm scared of what you might be. Might you really be free of me? Hey, 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 you're just a face that you show to me. Hey, 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 change it comes slow to me. If a breeze don't blow over, I'll grow wings in my shoulder. I never said you were all the things you want, but I think you'd be much clearer. And so it's true that everything is alright. You never wanna be my star, 'cause I don't know what I am waiting for. And you don't know that I'm in love, I'm already on my way around. It's always late, I'm always late to the party. You never wanna be like that. And everything is something you always see the world from my point of view, but I don't know if it's right. But I'm not sure I could because I am already on my way.
Yeah, after this, I got a pound of ground beef and some pasta and some sauce.
Fantastic.
This,
You want to tell us how you're going to cook that too?
yeah, why not? Just throw everything in the pan.
Is there gonna, everything in the pan? Maybe a little dash of whiskey or cheap beer or something.
Maybe.
Welcome back, Brodacious. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, welcome back, dude. Welcome back.
Hey,
We're just talking about dinner and the fact that I totally forgot to actually make anything, so I'm gonna do it after the stream. Pretty sure Greg hasn't eaten either.
It's par for the course, man. Par for the course.
Yeah. We actually have to remind him to eat.
I had some crackers. They were good.
Why am I not surprised? It's either crackers or he's cracking open a Monster or coffee or Cheerios.
Hey, no, Life, man. Life cereal's good. I like Life cereal.
Life's Kix. Anybody here remember Kix?
I remember that stuff. Did I?
Kix used to be the shit, man. Oh, used to love that cereal.
I know I've eaten that.
Kix and ski
at
soda.
Some point.
Kix and what now?
Ski soda. Huh? Kix and ski soda.
What the fuck? Okay, what the fuck is ski soda? Ski soda. I've never heard of that shit.
From my day back, well, many years ago.
25 years ago.
Well, I modeled Augie off of something that I didn't do regularly, but something that I did a couple of times.
Okay.
Which is have my cereal with beer.
In the bowl.
In the bowl.
That's psychopath behavior.
I wouldn't necessarily say that's psychopath behavior. That sounds like college behavior.
That would be what it was. Yes.
That's college behavior. That's what a fucking college student would do. Because I ain't gonna lie, I lived off of. There was one summer I was doing some summer courses at the Citadel, and I had ordered a lot of Domino's pizza. So I have plenty of left over, and I remember eating on that for days. I also remember the time I went to McDonald's. I can't remember if I was high or not during this, or I was really hungry. And I ordered 20 McDoubles and 20 crispy chicken sandwiches from McDonald's.
They were $1 then, though, right?
Yeah. It was back in the day when they were actually $1.
Yeah.
Like $1 and like some change, but like they were close to $1, not like $2 or whatever the fuck cents now.
When I was at when I was in Beloit, the ramen noodles in a cup, just add water and heat it up. And the the university kind of sets up on a hill, and down in the main part of town is kind of down below it. There's a man-made lake there, and every Friday night, all the bars downtown would have free pretzels and free peanuts. So that was my dinner, like Friday night, was pretzel and peanuts. So.
And a couple beers.
So, Shadow firing some shots there, saying he was hot back then.
He was hot back then.
Wow.
No longer, I'm afraid, Rob.
She.
Nah, I've aged. I've aged like.
Oh, he was
spoiled.
hot back then. Never mind me.
I don't look so good no more. I look a little scruffy.
I don't know, man. You seem to still be that guy. So
Sometimes you got it, but
Are we ready?
yeah. I remember. I could go for a McDouble right now, though. Shit. Yeah, we're ready, and thank you. Show. First of all, thank you guys for joining us tonight at our usual time and place. This is the Update Log, and we are now on episode 35. Joining me tonight are Matt and Greg, the usual suspects here. But we're going to talk about the industry as always. There's going to be some bitching.
Noodle. You should call him Noodle.
Yeah,
Until he
just because it says Noble here, but because
it's Noodle.
Greg is an old man with old man eyes.
It's
he can't
Noodle
read right,
until he stops
Noodle.
with the weeb stuff. Noodle
Yeah, I mean,
is his
look
name.
what he's got.
Okay. Don't you hate on Kirby over here? He's adorable.
That face is
Kirby.
super sus.
What do you mean? It's Kirby. He's about food. If you know anything about Kirby, you know the context.
I can relate. I'm about food too. Like that.
Yeah,
it's good.
But Kirby, was that a Christmas gift?
Yes, it was. Listen, Kirby is my boy. I grew up playing his games. In every Smash Brothers game, he's been my main. This is my boy.
I mean, Kirby is a goat. Let's be honest. He really is.
really
And he eats goats too.
He does. He'll eat anything.
Yeah, anything.
Cosmic God Slayer too. Don't fuck with Kirby.
Mr. Noble Rocker over here.
Yeah, it's good old knockoff of the Secret Labs chair.
Yeah, this is what it actually looks like, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Rob has the real version that I got a knockoff of. But you know what the fun part is?
His came with an M. It was meant to be.
Comes with an M for Matt. Wowee.
Fucking dork.
It's perfect.
It's meant to have it.
Okay, that's the end of the show for tonight, folks.
Let's jump into what we got. So, one of the topics we're going to kind of cover tonight is, for those of you who've been kind of keeping up, last year around this time, about a week ago, it's actually January 4th, I believe. Wizards of the Coast, or WotC for short, for those who are in the know, decided to fuck around and find out. Basically, what is now dubbed the OGL, or the OGL situation, happened this time last year. Where basically, to make a long story short, we actually did an episode on that quite a while ago. I think it was one of our first episodes, actually.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to go back a little ways. Basically, WotC was in the process of. Basically, it was about a day, so it was going to happen the 5th. A day away from announcing a change to the OGL 1.0A, I believe, if memory serves, which is basically an agreement between Wizards of the Coast and third-party developers and basically the community, which kind of boils down to, hey, you can use our system, you can use the universe that we've created to make your own homebrew stuff, put out stuff for the community to use, up to and including making stuff that you can sell. So you had a bunch of studios that have kind of blossomed out of that. Cobalt Press, let's see, Cobalt Press, Legend of Evantris is another one. I don't know if that's necessarily their studio name, but that's what I'm going off of right now because I can't remember. Ghostfire Gaming. There's been a number of them. Some of them are more recent, but there's been a number of folks that have come out of the OGL situation over the last 20 years. I think it's been around, or longer.
Yeah, little over.
Yeah, over 20 years. I think it came out with 3.5. I think was the latest version of that one.
Surprisingly enough, I mean, 5e's been around for like 10 or 12 years now, which is
yeah, well, just shy of no, actually 10 years. Yeah, it came out in 2014.
Yeah, it's been around for a while by now.
Been a decade. Yeah, it's the longest running actual edition of Dungeons and Dragons versions. So anyway, the OGL situation that was that, and they were basically going to be walking that back. Basically messing with it. Essentially, long story short, they decided, or it was leaked, that they were going to kind of repeal that and basically make it so that third-party creators were going to have to start paying out dues to them to utilize.
You made that, Matt?
Yeah, Matt has a very good.
So one of the things, and this is what really got people riled up about it, is that in that new agreement that they were going to put out, pretty much said that they were allowed to pretty much take something that someone else had developed, slap their own branding on it, and sell it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So you come out with a module, they would have the right to take it, slap their logo on it as if they made it, and sell it to other people.
And it's now theirs.
Yeah,
or
so
it would be theirs.
So it's literally that. It was literally that meme of "You made this, I made this." It was that meme.
Gets every time.
It gets me. It's ridiculous when you could use a ridiculous meme like that to perfectly describe like a corporate decision like that. It's like, oh, okay, I when you see like those such cartoonishly, mustache twirling, caricatures of evil businessmen, and like, oh, they're not like that in real life. And then you see them do something, it's like, oh,
never mind.
Maybe they are like
okay then. Maybe there are some. Maybe there are some mustache twirling businessmen out there.
Well, it's obviously we're a year away from it now, and
been a lot of development since then.
There has. Welcome back, Predicious. So let's talk about it. Let's dig into this and see, because there's all kinds to talk about. I mean, this whole walk back thing was interesting.
So welcome back, Bodacious, and Insomnia, and I see you lurking over there. So that happened about a year ago, a little more now, and it was one of the first times that I have seen a community, any community really, at least in my memory, in any significant way, come together and be like, nah, nope. And so the D&D community and the TTRPG community as a whole, as a matter of fact, came together on a level that I had never seen it before, and said, "No, we ain't gonna let this slide." Petitions were drawn up, I think, and signed to the tune of like 70,000 or so folks. D&D Beyond subscriptions were canceled in mass to the tune of like 40,000 people. When this came out, and I mean, content creators who were creating content for D&D, who were actually potentially going to be adversely affected by this OGL change, came together and pretty much just lambasted Wizards of the Coast / Hasbro over this leak, because it was a leak. That's how the community knew before it was made official. It was a leak, essentially. And I mean, their stocks plummeted almost immediately. And shortly thereafter, I think I want to say it took about a month for them to officially start like walk it back. I mean, there were tweets and stuff kind of shortly thereafter. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think that was one of the things that really pissed off the community, was that it took them like 2 weeks to say anything. But they inevitably walked it back and kind of had to do the walk of shame. And they're one of the executives, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Came out and said, "Hey, yeah, look, we're not gonna be doing that." Yeah, it was Kyle Brink kind of went on a press tour of basically apologizing to everyone. No, I'm not sick. At least I don't think I am. Maybe. Who knows? I don't know. I don't know anymore. And then welcome in, Gemma.
That's just becoming an old man. You gotta make some old man noises from time to time.
I don't make any old man noises.
Whenever you sit up or sit down, you gotta go like, kind of do like the old man.
Yeah, that's getting up out of bed. That's getting up out of bed, sitting down. Yep, maybe old man noises. Who knows? But yeah, Kyle Brink went on basically an apology tour, meeting with a number of different content creators over some time, and began apologizing. One of the things though that really stuck out to me during this is one of the tweets that they had put out, or one of the not I think it was a tweet, but it was also like a kind of a long form post. I think it was on their website. And one of the lines that stuck out to me was, they were saying, "Oh, you're gonna hear a bunch of stuff, yada yada yada." But one of the lines that stuck out to me was, "You're gonna hear folks saying that we won, they won, we lost, but they're wrong. They won, and so did we." And
yeah,
I don't know. I don't know about y'all, but that felt kind of like a backhanded comment, so to speak.
No, it's that type of corporate speak where they can never admit fault for anything.
Yeah, it's like, why don't you just admit that you fucked up?
Yeah, like they can't have like that kind of like down to earthness to be like, okay, you know what? We overstepped some bounds. We fucked up. We're sorry, and we want to do better because you guys matter to us. But instead, they write this as if because legal would never allow that.
I mean, yeah,
wrong. Like I know there are reasons why corporate speak is that way. I don't know all the reasons, the specifics behind it, but I know there are reasons. It just does not. It just also makes it come off as like incredibly disingenuous when they speak like that, to the point where it's like, yeah, that's not helping anything. Sometimes I just prefer if they didn't say anything at all. If they're gonna give talk like that.
Sometimes it depends on what side of that you're on, too. I mean, because the legal jargon can be different, but sometimes it does. It depends on what side of that you're on. Who are you speaking to? And in their case, honestly, they have to speak to their fan base, and they also have to speak to their investors. And in that case, for them, I mean, it's not just Wizards of the Coast, it's not just Dungeons and Dragons, which are they're two separate IPs that are one's wholly owned by the other, and then Wizards of the Coast is then owned by Hasbro. So
it's not involved with that.
And so this is kind of a year in review with regards to that. And I will say they've kind of redeemed themselves in very, very minor ways, at least in my opinion. Because they've still had some fuck ups in the year of 2023.
Oh yeah,
DOGL was just the tip of the iceberg, very large iceberg, I should say.
It was the start of it all.
Yeah, one of the more recent kind of snafus that they've been kind of raked over the coals for was a mass layoff towards the end, about 2 weeks before Christmas, of 1,100 employees. Now, I'm gonna kind of put an asterisk there, because the 1,100 employees is going to be over the course of a number of them are over the course of 2024. So I mean, I'm pretty sure folks are still being laid off now and into the next couple months. But a good number of them started about 2 weeks before Christmas last year. Now, the irony of that is after the the CEO of Hasbro just paid himself, I believe, let's see, 2023. I'm actually looking at it right now. About 3 times what he got paid. So you gotta get like a $9 million bonus.
Hey, good old Chris Cox.
Chris Cox.
And no, that's not spelt COX like a normal person whose name is Cox. It's literally just what your mind in the gutter would think how it's spelled. So,
yeah.
Well, unfortunate name there, buddy.
Well, come on now. With that kind of name, you need $9 million, don't you?
It's gotta feel good about yourself somehow.
Yeah, I mean, well. So this was not this past year. This was the year 2022 that he took home this sale. I don't know what he took home this year, but we can probably look that up. This past year.
Yeah, I mean it always frustrates me to see a CEO take a massive bonus to their salary each year, like constantly increasing, while at the same time laying off
a bunch of people,
so many workers.
Yep, like because it's wild. It really is. Let's see what he got.
Gotta get while the getting's good, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's far too common of a thing, and it really just comes down to that's the job, though. The job is that when things are going well, you get to take credit for it, and when things are not going well, you also get to take credit for that.
Yeah, it's like
that's kind of the idea, but I've seen very much lately the folks trying to pawn that fuck up off on other folks.
Oh yeah, like that whole thing. It makes me respect. Like, okay, there are definitely problems with Nintendo, but in 2014, the CEO of Nintendo, or their president at that time, Satoru Iwata, cut his own cut his own pay, as well as Shigeru Miyamoto taking a pay to their cut, as well as many other board members, like by significant amounts. When they got hit hard, they willingly took cuts to their own pay so that they could keep their company going and like continue to employ people. And 2014, I think that was around the time of the Wii U, right?
I think so.
Yeah. That whole thing.
Yeah.
And so, look at the result of that. They bounced back they bounced back hard with the Switch because they valued the long-term health of their company. They chose, instead of like continuing their own like personal gain, they took a hit of that because obviously at their positions, they're already making a good amount of money. They could take those hits. So they took those hits, continued investing in the company to keep it going, and the Switch was a smash hit, incredibly successful. It's hard to say. I mean, it can't. I mean, I'll say, granted, there's no guarantee that if they did it otherwise, that the Switch couldn't still have been great. But I mean, it could have been a lesser product if they had chose, like so many other companies you see, to let go of a big portion of their workforce while paying themselves the big bucks.
So here is one thing though that I did that is very much in their favor. And kind of, at least in part, reinvigorated some trust in the company, and that was putting, I believe it was 5th edition and potentially 5th edition only under Creative Commons license. So that means that edition, and again, I think it's only 5th edition, or it could be 5th edition and earlier editions. So, don't necessarily quote me on that, because I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, 5th edition for sure is under Creative Commons license, which, to put it simply, means whatever the OGL is, whatever that is, perpetuity. Forever, is going to stay that way in perpetuity. And anyone has access to the SRD now, which is the remind me what the acronym stands for, Greg?
System reference document.
There we go. Yeah, system reference document basically means everyone has access to the 5th edition core rules, classes, all that stuff, and we can use it in perpetuity forever. Now that particular document has become irrevocable, meaning it can never be changed, altered. They can't try to pull another OGL situation with that edition. That does not count with future editions, though, so keep that in mind. Meaning, whatever, like the one coming out later this year, we're gonna get into that part in a moment, because there's been a couple wacky things there too. But whatever future editions they come out with are not under that provision, so keep that in mind. So that was kind of one of the first big steps that they took to kind of regain some trust with the community, was put the 5th edition D&D SRD under Creative Commons. So that was a big thing for me, and I kind of tipped my hat to them. Though, not to give them too much fucking credit, they kind of had no choice at that point. I mean, their stocks were plummeting. I think they lost anywhere in the realm of 30 to 50% of their stock in the following months in the OGL situation. Like that shit was tanking. So they had to do something to stem to plug the massive leak that they themselves created. So, and so I'm not gonna give them too much credit on that one.
Yeah, it's because like with Dungeons and Dragons, like Wizards of the Coast, they thrive off of their, incredibly passionate community. Like the ability for people to create their own content and all that stuff, it helps spread word of the game even more to bring more people in. Like, because the more content a game has, the more the more appealing it is, as well as like just the fact that the community is who drives so much of the advertising for D&D. Mm-hmm. Like, it was only until recently we started seeing like a D&D movie and stuff like that. Besides that, where did you ever see advertising for D&D? You didn't.
Never.
But you would hear people tell stories about playing D&D, their adventures. The community is who made
stuff.
Yeah, the community is who made D&D and Wizards of the Coast what they are. So when you piss them off, that's not fucking good. That's your lifeblood right there.
Matt's too young to have seen the first one.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's a young in Infinity Core.
He's too young to have seen the first one.
Just give me a year. How old is this?
You've never heard about D&D. That's why I watched the whole cartoon series when I was a kid. I mean,
Yeah. Well, there was a cartoon series, there was another animated series, and then there was the one in the 90s that I saw with, what's his face?
Dragon Magazine, Dungeon Magazine. I mean, there were pretty major publications that were also
Jeremy
other.
Irons. Yeah, Jeremy Irons was that first one.
It was never
Marlon
mainstream.
Wayans. I remember that one.
It was never mainstream like Dungeons and Dragons is now.
Yeah, and that's I think that's kind of the heart of what you're getting at, Matt. And I agree with you.
Yeah,
like D&D was never a mainstream game. Tabletop games in general were and to a degree still are very niched.
It was main in my stream.
All like niche if you compare it to the absolutely like widespread like video games.
Yeah, video game appeal, and I'll argue even video games were very much kind of niche.
YouTube
game streamers. Yeah, so video game, like gaming in general, just the gaming community across all mediums are very much have been in the background in society until very, very recently.
I think
gaming.
That's right. Now you pushed me into lockers when I was a kid, but now it's my time to rule.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure they created a movie of Revenge of the Nerds. And Matt,
you are right. Yeah, I forgot that was a thing. Yeah, we need a rehash of that movie.
Yeah.
Modern day Revenge of the Nerds.
Yep, yep. But yeah, Infinity Core, you are kind of right. Yeah, it was definitely WotC wasn't putting out advertisements and stuff like that. So it was the community that kept the genre uh, I mean, and this goes for all
Right.
TTRPGs. It's the community that keeps those games alive.
Yeah.
Harper says people used to experience the thing that my mother refers to as outdoors.
What is that?
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
You know what, Harper, you're right, because we actually used to play D&D outdoors.
It's called LARPing.
So.
People still do that.
Outdoors. Is this another thing that was before my time? I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Yeah, Matt. It's
Hey
called
man, any wow, yes, indeed. It's that green stuff when you look out the window.
Wait, is that the outside of my window? That's outdoors? Oh my goodness!
It is. You bet. LARP, vampire,
Crazy.
werewolf. That White Wolf Games really brought that community alive for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's like the fact that like TTRPGs, they're incredibly community driven, more so than like what you see in vast majority of video games. So like you gotta keep your community happy, and if you pull shit like Wizards did with the OGL and the things that they keep trying to do, like every week, it's not gonna go well for them. And like the people made their voices heard when it came to the OGL, because like complaining on Twitter is one thing. Like awareness helps, but only to an extent. Most companies aren't going to change their decision because people on Twitter are yelling.
Nope. Once you hit that bottom line.
But that Twitter yelling did help, because it did cause a lot of people who are subscribed to D&D Beyond remove their subscriptions, hitting the company's bottom line. That's how you really make your voice heard to a company, because that's the language they speak, money. So that's what got Wizards to change tune, because if people didn't pull back their D&D Beyond subscriptions and it was just the Twitter yelling, I don't think Wizards would have pulled that back.
Yeah, I mean, again, you hit any company's bottom line, and they're going to take notice real fast.
Yeah.
But Shadow's Riddle Box says, "Oh my God, yes, that's my language." Yeah, she's speaking of Vampire the Masquerade, which is the first of the White Wolf system games. I happen to be a fan. Actually, played it with her and her family years and years ago.
I've heard about it. I think it has kind of like from my understanding, it kind of has like that cult following.
Oh yeah, huge cult following. That and the games, the one video game. But they are coming out with Vampire Bloodlines too. So
there's a lot of game systems that have a cult following, and that's I would say most of the game systems that they have any level of dominancy at all, I have a cult following, and even D&D has a cult following. You get right down to it. Now, Vampire, different thing altogether for sure, especially the LARPs, the live games. And I can't knock the live games. The first time I played in a Vampire the Masquerade LARP was at the very first Concentric at the Ramada O'Hare. And I staffed that con, ran some games during the day, and then they did the live action role play, which was ran by a theater group out of Indianapolis. They did that overnight. So there were a couple days there where I just didn't sleep. I worked the con during the day and then stayed up all night playing this game. It was fun.
This is how you do it. Now, I do want to put in a little bit of a caveat there for that first piece that I mentioned about kind of the OGL 1.A and basically all the editions of D&D being under Creative Commons. Now, Kyle Brink did say that they were going to be continuing updating that, and for future editions, I was mistaken, I believe, because I can't remember if I said it would not be, but I just kind of did a little bit of digging while we were sitting here chit-chatting. They do have plans, at least as from what they've said, to put future editions under the SRD as well. So future editions of D&D will fall under the SRD, will fall under Creative Commons, and that is in an effort to leave third-party creators. That is in an effort not to leave them out of the loop, because again,
no, that isn't an effort to cover their ass and try to recapture the market share that they've lost and appease the people that they've completely pissed off.
I'm surprised
That's
Greg is
what
coming
that
out
is.
with this, because usually he's the business, like he speaks for the businesses most
Well,
of the time.
I am speaking for the business right now.
this is where we catch Greg. Like, this is where we know, like, this is something he cares about.
Yeah, because he's
Greg,
just no. This is what it really
when
is.
Greg is the one being like giving the passionate speeches and like showing the emotion.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree with you, Greg, and I agree with you, Infinity Core. This is probably them from a kind of macro view covering their asses in the future, that they don't get the backlash that they got. But here's the thing: that's what they've said. Now we have to wait to see what they've done, because I'm just gonna call it 5.5, because I don't think there's an official fucking name, and if there is, I haven't heard it yet. It was one D&D for a while. Now it's still 5th edition. They don't know what the fuck to call it. But the edition coming out this year is, by the way, they've actually, and here's a little bit of an aside, kind of. When they did kind of the showcase for it, I believe it was a PAX Unplugged. When they were showing it. For those of you who watched it, they actually had a date set for the release of this, which is May 21st. They've since kind of walked that back a little bit. There is no official date, but keep an eye out then, around that time period. So the end of May, we should see the core rulebook for 2024 and the 5.5 edition. That's what I'm fucking calling it, coming out. So here's the thing. Here's why I'd say that, because we're still waiting to see if future editions, like they've said, are going to fall under Creative Commons, like they mentioned. They said their commitment to community. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens, because that'll kind of be the big boost in faith the community can kind of have, if that indeed does come to pass, because then that means that the OGL 1.0A will be here to stay for good. And of course, as not a Mackie view, it is definitely micro view. They bought TSR and they put it on the back burner for Magic the Gathering, which was completely stupid that they should have developed simultaneously.
There's a lot to that story, though, Infinity, you're absolutely correct. And Wizards bought out TSR. Most of the copyright pieces that were not held directly by Gary Gygax and the Gygax Trust. And here's the thing: it wasn't necessarily. It turned out to be a rough thing for the community and the people that love the game, and the products that were coming from TSR. It turned out to be a good thing, ladies and gentlemen, in the fact that if they would not have bought out TSR very well might have went completely under on its own, because they were in financial trouble at the time. So, I mean, there are some good aspects of that. I wish, and at the time that it happened, when I remember those days, first hearing that, okay, Wizards of the Coast is buying TSR. I mean, honestly, just pissed me off, if nothing else, because it's like, oh my God, are you serious? Really? Wizards is buying them? And I think the even back then, the fear in the community, at least the people that I knew and worked with, dealt with, was that Wizards was going to do exactly that: shelf the product, shelf D&D, and continue to focus on what they had going at the time, which was Magic the Gathering, and continue building that piece. Which I don't blame them for doing that, because that's been like, you know, that's been a printing press for money for many years for that company. So, is it sad? It is absolutely sad. But potentially, I would say it was a good thing that Wizards bought TSR and saved them from bankruptcy more than anything else.
Yeah, Greg was there when the Deep Magics were written. Those of you who know the Narnia reference. So one of the other pieces to kind of this whole SRD puzzle is Wizards of the Coast publishing a D&D kind of content policy, which they said they're in the process of doing, primarily to police themselves. Because here's the thing: it's kind of this SRD bit is a bit of a double-edged sword, because now that all kind of the cat's out of the bag, so to speak, anyone can create content using D&D, the SRD, for good or for bad. And I mean, Kyle Brink even mentioned it, said, hey, we can't do anything about this. The community is definitely, you know, going to have to be involved in terms of policing their own, and we will be, you know, because again, anyone can take up the SRD and put out content based in and on the D&D system, and Wizards of the Coast can't do anything. They can't step in, legally speaking. So again, you know, we're gonna have to kind of police our own, and I would hazard a guess that 99.9% of the folks in the community are gonna do right by it. But you know, you always have those folks who I'd say things and run way over the line with them.
Yeah, I mean, there's always that worry of like someone publishing and making money off of you know, we'll say problematic content, you know, whatever, like whoever it's offending, whatever the content matter is, and having your own you know, label attached to that, you know, the D&D label. But you know, as Rob was just saying, I think the D&D community is strong enough to where that, like, if someone did that, I mean, people would not be okay with that. You know, not many people would buy it. Like, those type of things, I don't think would get popular enough for people to be like intentionally like, yeah, this is the way I do my business now.
I do. Infinity Core, I do want to add a little bit onto that, because I think you're absolutely right. I don't think that Wizards really did a full economic analysis, really looking at what the potential of the gaming system was. At the time, I think the gaming system was still fairly strong. I mean, and a lot of the products that they had going were doing well. The unfortunate part is they really looked at it as we're going to buy this in trouble company, and you know, typically you buy assets and then you sell off the liabilities, and unfortunately that's basically what ended up happening with TSR. They carried the TSR brand for a while after they purchased it, and then slowly converted everything over to Wizards of the Coast. And I do believe they still own the TSR brand. I think, not positive on that one, but it's it's unfortunate that it happened that way. But it is potentially, if that would not have happened,
we might not have D&D.
Well, we definitely probably wouldn't have a 5e or you know, we could have done without a 4th edition. But you know.
We don't talk about that one.
Never heard of that one.
Nah.
Don't think it exists. I think they just went straight from 3.5 to 5, right?
Yep. exactly what happened. And we got Pathfinder out of that one too, which is a
Well,
great game.
But you
that's
think-
how much people didn't like
Right.
fourth edition.
You think about it, though. I mean, what prompted the piece with the OGL as well, because that came along right at that time when Wizards of the Coast bought TSR. So there's a lot of product out there by different publishers that were using that OGL that is really some really awesome product made by other studios, and not just games, but I mean art. The art that was coming, that was being made to be used with those products. Huge amount of stuff that came out of that even though Wizards wasn't really actively pursuing building that brand, the community did in a large part pick it up and continue to build it. I would say that where we are now with what has happened with Dungeons and Dragons has a great deal more to do with the community and the work that's been put in by the people operating or functioning off the OGL than it does anything that Wizards of the Coast did. Wow. Give me a second here and I will bring these guys back in. Welcome back, Matt.
Hey, good old Streamlabs collab cam back
Good
at
old
it again.
Good old Streamlabs being a piece of shit.
At least you were the one talking.
Right. Well.
Oh, we just re-lost Rob.
Yeah, he's back now. Put him back in here. There you are. Now.
Okay.
Would you two mind staying in your seat for a while?
No.
All right, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. At least I think I'm back. Am I back?
You're good. Yeah, you're in.
All right. So a couple of things. Again, just kind of looking through my notes here that I just found. So that whole content policy thing, unfortunately, we're still waiting on that. That was shortly thereafter the OGL situation. It's been about, at this point, going on a year, maybe. So
yeah,
still waiting.
A little bit.
And then the older versions of D&D becoming under SRD. Now, again, there was a promise for that made, which is a good thing. And I think it only goes back as far as 3.5. I think, but I think either they're only playing on 3.5, but don't quote me on that, but there is a promise made by Kyle Brink on that, like, hey, we do want to get the rest of the editions under SRD for people to work with and do that stuff. But they are, and to their credit, and I get this from a business standpoint, they're taking their time with that, because there are a lot of trademark stuff in older versions of D&D that they have to make sure that they don't just give away.
I do.
So, fair enough.
Yeah. I do want to do something really quickly here for people who. People who have been around playing D&D for a very long time, or maybe even some people who want to really take a look at some of the older content, the early stuff, such as AD&D, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, version 1, 2.0, 3.0. A lot of that content was also wrapped up in the Gary Gygax Trust, and that
yeah, that's right.
That right now, Trollard Games recently signed an agreement with Luke Gygax, Gary's son, and the Trust to reprint a lot of that older material. So that stuff is going to be back out there. Some of it already is going to be back out there on the market again, with the potential to be able to really go out and take a look at some of the classic modules and compendiums that were, the backbone of where we are now. Really good content, fantastic stuff. So if you are interested in any of that, go check it out.
Mm-hmm. Although I will say this, as far as I know, and as far as my research has told me, they still have not put the older versions of D&D, the older editions, under SRD. That's still in progress. So,
yeah,
take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, which is why, like, I'm like, when a company promises something, I'm not really holding my
Skeptical.
breath on that because those until actual action is taken, those are just words. And right now, like given the past year Wizards has had, the trust isn't quite there when they say
No.
something, So I mean, if it happens, then good. The more things are under the Creative Commons license, that is available for people to work with. The more of that, the better.
So, tell you what, we have now spent the better part of an hour talking about the not so magical Wizards of the Roast.
Did he just say Wizards of the Roast? Well
Wizards
played.
that we roast. There.
Yeah.
Well, how about we move on to something else? I mean, I love talking about WotC, but
It's the roast, I love it. Yeah, sorry. I mean, they had a lot to kind of to go over and to kind of prove to the community, but they've kind of fucked up. Couple of things though, in keeping, and I promise we're gonna wrap up our talk of WotC. AI and that whole situation. I know it's kind of a shift, but we have a few kind of topics of discussion regarding them, including WotC. They actually just had a bit of a snafu again with AI. Their first one really was met when they launched Glory of the Giants, I believe that the
yeah, that's what it was called.
Yeah, and that was kind of when WotC basically after that whole situation, was a bunch of folks in the community that pointed out in certain images in Glory of the Giants, that compendium were funky. And for anyone who's ever used AI imaging to kind of craft a portrait for a character or something, you already know AI is very noticeable. Things just look off. They can't do fingers. They don't
Hands,
know how to
fingers, toes. A lot of times eyes as well.
Yeah, eyes look really jacked up.
Sometimes the eyes look fine, but I've seen plenty of times where it's like what the hell is going on there?
Like that character's possessed. It needs Jesus.
See, the funk makes me feel better as an artist, personally.
And it was around that time when Glory of the Giants came out that Wizards of the Coast pretty much, for lack of a better way to put it, they said, yeah, we don't do AI art or AI anything. All of our stuff has to be made by a human. Fortunately, very recently that was not the case, as basically they got into another bit of a situation with AI art, namely with Magic the Gathering and some of the more recent cards that are projected to come out if they haven't already. A couple Twitter posts came out from WotC. And again, eagle-eyed community was like, yeah, this is made by AI art. There's actually a post. I'm gonna read to you guys here. Let me actually pull this up real quick.
Yeah, and it's like AI art honestly isn't that hard to spot. Like if you're familiar with it, then you know what to look for, and usually it's pretty easy to find.
Yeah, it really is, and it just stands out. And here's the thing: I'm gonna kind of preface this by saying I, for one, I don't have a problem with AI personally. However, we're going to put a caveat in there. So Magic the Gathering, Wizards of the Coast. Well, we made a mistake earlier when we said that a marketing image we posted was not created using AI art. Yeah, this was kind of them refuting that particular image and tweet showcasing the Magic the Gathering focused art, and said, yeah, it wasn't created with AI art. They've kind of backtracked on that, and they're going to clarify in this next series of posts that I'm going to read to you guys.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah, we lied. Nothing to see here. Move along, please.
I mean, I believe they worked with some third-party artists, didn't they?
Yeah, that was kind of part of this whole thing, but I'll get into it in a second. So they basically said, as you, our diligent community, pointed out, it looks like some AI components that are now popping up in the industry standards tools like Photoshop crept into our marketing creative, even if a human did the work to create the overall image. While the art came from a vendor, it's on us to make sure that we are living up to our promise to support the amazing human ingenuity that makes magic great.
There you go.
We already made clear that we require artists, writers, and creatives contributing to Magic TCG to refrain from using AI generative tools to create final Magic products. Now, see, for me, it's the last bit there to create final Magic products.
The one particular piece that stands out to me is like greedy capitalist 101. Throw your vendors under the bus.
Yeah,
that's exactly what
what
they. That's not, you know, they're that's not a partnership. That's, oh, we got caught. You're taking the blame.
Yeah, and here's the thing: like, if you're hiring someone to do art for you, you should know what they do. Like
their
you know,
process. You should have an idea of what their process is going to be, right?
like to go back a bit to the Glory of the Giant and what happened there. Yeah, that artist that did that work, you know, he did some of his own work and then had AI touch it up. I don't know the extent at which he used it.
They have to
But
proof
like,
all that.
I believe, like on his like Twitter bio and stuff, he was very open about his use of AI.
What,
So like, there's no way in hell WotC didn't know that this guy used AI to assist his art.
they have to
And
proof
so-
all of it. They have to proof it and approve it. It's not like you hire a third-party vendor and then they just take it over and they do all of it for you. Oh, well, my hands are clean. I don't know what they're doing. That's a big pile of bullshit if I've ever seen it.
Oh yeah, I
you
mean, you have contracts that you sign with these people, and NDAs and a whole bunch of shit, paperwork that gets done whenever you bring in a third party vendor to work on your project. You mean to tell me that there's no discussion of AI anything in any of that paperwork there, or like, especially when you guys got called out at Glory of the Giants, that conversation wasn't had with basically a general conversation with all your vendors saying, hey, if you're working with us, you're putting your stamp, you know, your art, your writing into our product. We want you to do it, not some fucking machine. Bullshit. Total bullshit.
Yeah, I find it very unlikely that they didn't know already.
And here's the thing: when it comes to AI stuff, like I said, I personally don't care. Like I don't mind if companies use AI to help streamline a process, to help automate. Because here's the thing: automation and kind of streamlining a process, that is called efficiency, and it's not a bad thing. However, don't fucking lie about it. If you use it, just own up to that shit. However, that's probably leading into one of the next points, and this is one of the bigger pieces aside from the OGL.
Well, some consumers are really going to be all about that, and a lot of it depends on what's your financial capability for one thing. But
yes.
they're going to want to, you know, maybe they can only afford to buy something that's cheaper. And here's the thing. The idea is that this AI generation of art and content is going to reduce costs, but do you see the price of games coming down?
Nope.
Not at all.
And I was just about to get to that piece. So the AI art goes hand in hand with a couple of things that I'm about to kind of bring up, and we're going to talk about. And again, I know we've spent quite a bit on WotC, but again, it's been a long year of stuff going on with them.
They're the Activision Blizzard of the TTRPGs.
Pretty much. At least one of them. So the point I'm going to get into is next is kind of what Greg was touching on there. Have we seen a reduction in cost in content, in stuff coming out of them? As a matter of fact, we've seen quite the opposite when it comes to their physical content merchandise, namely the books. There's a 20% increase in the price of their books very recently done. Well, not recently. It's probably about 6 months ago, maybe around that time. They hiked the price up of their content. So if you're using AI art to assumably streamline a process and potentially cut costs because you won't have to hire as many artists or as artists for as long or as large of a products, then why are we as consumers seeing a reduction in cost for your digital products or even your physical products? Why are you raising the prices? That's number one. Number two, that digital piece. Now, I'm sure you guys who have been keeping up with WotC and just the community in general have noticed that they're pushing to move to a digital platform, namely D&D Beyond, which they bought. Wizards of the Coast now owns D&D Beyond. And there were leaks of talks of a subscription-based model for their content, digitally speaking, and then the whole discussion, which we've had a couple of episodes now, of the VTT that they're creating, the virtual tabletop that they're creating to compete with things like Foundry, VTT, Alchemy, and Roll20. Although I think in one of you guys, if you would, kind of Google this real quick, either WotC owns or they might be in the process of buying Roll20.
No,
No, they don't.
no.
Okay, so
they do have a partnership with Roll20.
no, that's one step closer to buying, in my opinion.
I'm sure they have their eyes set on it in the future.
Probably, maybe. Because again, they're coming up with their own VTT, so it might be a foregone conclusion at this point that they might not even need to buy Roll20.
Maybe.
So because I'm telling you, man, like they're setting themselves up to move in that direction. I think whole hog.
There's also other platforms that are coming online. I mean, and there some of them are some of them are pretty good. We use Roll20. One of the VIP members of our audience, Insomnia Knight, is very very vocal about his love for Foundry, which is another one that's out there. So there are options, and that's hopefully there continue to be more options developed. I was reading something about another one the other day, which I forget the name of it now, but that VTT industry, I honestly I really hope that they do not, or they're not allowed to corner that piece of the market. That I think would be an ugly situation, because it just extends that ugliness Control. Out into a different area. Right. And VTT is a big piece of what we're talking about now. That virtual tabletop has allowed a lot more people to engage with tabletop RPGs and to really get involved in the community. So.
Yeah, which I mean, I don't think that the push to go digital is necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I think the physical copies of the books and all that stuff should always exist.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think pushing towards the digital is a bad thing. Like, having, buying like the PDFs for the rule books is, simple and easy. You own it. And having platforms like Roll20 can help people connect to play games when they don't live anywhere near each other. Like that's why we're able to play games with you, Greg. Like me and Rob live about 45 minutes away from each other. It would be possible for us to play D&D and other games together. But with you, you're all the way over fucking Wisconsin.
Yep. And NES Infinity Core. Wizards of the Coast does own D&D Beyond. They bought it for almost $150 million.
Yeah, quite a lot of bones for that one.
Yep.
But yes, but like the digital side of it, I don't think is a bad thing.
No, it depends on how it's going to happen. Because here's the thing, this is the biggest problem that I have with digital focused content. Is same thing with video games, like platforms like Steam. We're going to talk about them in a bit here too. Steam is the fact that because the products are digital, let's say D&D Beyond shuts down for whatever reason. I've spent hard-earned money buying up all the source books and stuff like that through D&D Beyond, to run my games or whatever through there. What happens if D&D Beyond goes under, or gets shut down? Like that team gets shut down. D&D Beyond is dead as a platform.
You don't got your stuff no more.
I don't have my shit anymore. Things that I paid for, don't have it anymore. Same thing with Steam. It happens. Steam, goes under. All the games that I bought, I don't own them anymore.
That is digital. Yeah, that's a big problem with this.
So it honestly feels like we're renting shit now.
Oh, absolutely.
Kind of like one of the pros to this system, and again, there's definitely a huge con. One of the pros to this is that it makes like things like cloud backups for like save data and stuff a lot easier since it's connected to the platform. And that's good because sometimes, some data can get corrupted and you could be fucked over, Or if or you can like say, hey, I bought this before, let me download it again. Yeah, good. But yeah, there's a serious con
or your
saying
disc,
that like
or your disc gets scratched.
Yeah, just get scratched. just read on it, go rub it against your shirt, and it'll be fine.
A nuke data center. Infinity Core. I think the whole point of
I remember the days of having to blow out the cartridge before you stick it in the game fondly. Thank you very much.
I mean, even I did that. I grew up on the Nintendo 64. I remember doing that stuff.
Nintendo 64.
Q-tips and rubbing alcohol, man. That worked pretty good.
I did that. I did that too. The Q-tips and rubbing alcohol, worked wonders.
But like, honestly, it would be fantastic if we were able to play our games on like Steam without having to go through Steam in order to do it. I pay the money. I pay the money, full price. I should own the game, but it's the state of almost half ownership because nothing's stopping me from playing it. But it's like
if I don't already have it downloaded, then
it could be taken. It could be taken away from me at any point, essentially.
No, I agree. No, go ahead, Matt.
Because something could happen. Whether Steam goes down or for whatever reason, Steam bans you for whatever reason that might happen. Maybe you did something wrong, or maybe just bullshit happens. Whatever the case, in any of those situations, can't play your Steam games anymore.
Yep,
just gone.
That's kind of the worry that I personally have, and I know a lot of folks have with regards to the push kind of for a digital approach to a lot of things, a lot of content in general. There's that.
The more that we have come into the digital age, the other thing on the flip side of that, what you see is the more the potential and widespread piracy. And that's a big deal. That's also part of what has led to where we're at now. Okay, I'm not fully in the defensive side of looking at these companies and saying, they have to do this. But understanding why they do it is they're protecting their IP. I mean, because of this piracy issue, you want to make sure that you are as secure as you possibly can be. Otherwise, it's very, you look back even 15, 20 years ago when it was fairly easy to just go download a scalped copy of almost anything. And that's what kind of generated this age. It also helped that having that much control over their product also meant that, you can, like the subscription-based piece, because you have to pay a subscription for your membership to these things. And when it comes to the VTTs, here's the downside for anybody who is a GM. You're going to have to pay your subscription to run games on these platforms. Now, there are usually some free options there. You're also going to have to buy all those assets, which you can potentially lose. Now, most of these platforms do give you memory space there, so you can upload your own assets if you wish. But if you don't continue your subscription, then you can also lose all those access to all those assets you purchased. So then you have that. That was kind of like a positive for the companies and a negative all in one. I like the VTT piece. I think it's a little upsetting how it's handled, and the fact that the idea is to be able to bring players together, but how the assets are handled is still could be a little bit abusive. One of the things that I do like, at least with Roll20, is the compendium sharing. So as a person who has assets, I can share those assets with my players so that they don't have to go purchase those assets themselves. And I definitely hope that that's a feature that continues forward.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, if they did not keep that, like you were just talking about piracy, and I get measures taken to reduce piracy, but if you take things too far, and make things even more inaccessible, it's gonna have the opposite effect, where people are gonna do whatever they can to pirate that shit because, fuck that, We used to be able to share that thing. Not anymore. Well, fuck. I'll find some other way to get it. I'm not paying for it. That's gonna be the attitude a lot of people have.
I still like the and as long as people continue to have that attitude, the worse the situation will get. That's all I have to say about that. I still like the idea of the corner game store.
100%.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and that's I don't want to go down the circle around piece with the IP and piracy and all those things, and because these companies do need to protect their IP. Every creative needs to protect their IP, and as long as people are going to abuse that and steal your IP, because that's what they're doing, then you're going to have to be more creative about how you protect your IP. That's the unfortunate part. And as long as that just keeps circling around, that situation only gets worse, man. It doesn't get better.
Yeah. No, and I just want to say that my comment that I made wasn't me saying, like, condoning the piracy of things, but just kind of explain that it's like that's what people are going to do. A lot of people, not everyone, of course, but the piracy is always going to exist in some way, but I think if companies take things too far, the more inaccessible that they make certain
you're just going to push it
things.
in that way further.
Yeah. It's like a tipping point,
And I agree with you on both sides. I agree with you on, like, if you guys try to kind of ham fist your way through it, then you're just going to push people to an alternative that you're not going to like. But at the same time, I completely agree. Like, you have to protect your IP. I mean, as creatives ourselves, I'd be fucking damned if people steal our shit. You know what I mean? I'd be pissed.
Now they're both agreeing with me. I have to find something else to argue about.
I'm sure you will, Greg. I'm sure you will.
I give it 10 minutes.
But to finally give WotC a break, we're moving on to
challenge.
Steam now.
Yeah.
Steam and the Steam Awards.
Yeah, we talked a bit about this last week, because we were talking about, like, how just weird it was. The nominees for a lot of the categories who won. We were like, what was up with that?
Well, one caveat that I want to remind the audience
games.
One caveat that I want to remind the audience of, if you don't know, the Steam, it's community driven. Each of the categories and the nominations and the ultimate winners are mostly community driven, at least as far as we understand. And Infinity Core, the Steam popularity contest, essentially what it is.
Pretty much, yeah.
Although I will say this, to give Steam and the community credit, the game of the year did go to the appropriate winner, which was Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah. However, the one that stuck out for me the most was most innovative game of 2023.
Good old Starfield.
That's how I call it. Starfield.
You bet. Isn't that is the most innovative game?
Yeah.
Not just this year, but ever, right?
Bethesda using the same gameplay formula that they've been doing for decades at this point.
Hey.
I'm pretty sure we saw that.
They had a completely new paint job, just like all their other games did.
Skyrim, another thing that they haven't updated in over 10 years, they just keep re-releasing the same fucking edition.
It's the same engine, just different pay job.
Pretty much.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like Skyrim,
60 frames per minute, baby.
We can talk, like we can, say that Skyrim is a flawed game, but at the time it came out, it was a fantastic game. There may be elements of it that by now are a little dated, but with the passionate modding community, you can breathe some like new life into that game. Like I've seen some people on like Twitch play some modded Skyrim, and yeah, they've done some crazy things that would make it a lot more fun. Base package though, at this point, little meh. And that's kind of the feeling that Starfield has at this point. It's
Infinity Core, don't encourage them, please.
that's kind of I think that's kind of the MO behind most of. And I just want to be clear. I play a lot of Bethesda games, and the titles. I mean, I'm a big Fallout fan. Skyrim.
How about that Fallout 76?
I didn't waste my money on that.
I did. I got it.
You poor soul.
Well, here's the thing. I had a group of people that I played that with for a while, and so I ended up getting it, and then they all stopped playing it, so I did too. But anyway, the thing about it is, I play their games, but it still doesn't. It's still a fact that they basically recycle the same things over and over and over again. And it kind of goes with, if it's not broken, don't fix it kind of thing, because they continue to, their MO is when they launch a game, first year is that product period where they launch their game with all of its wonderful flaws and whatnot. And they immediately take and open it up to the modding community, who comes in and fixes all the issues. But they have a tremendous modding community behind their product, and I think that's kind of grown into its own thing now. Because a lot of people enjoy those games just specifically for the modding they can do.
Yeah, no, it's funny you bring up the modding, because this is a bit of a show of how much a lot of people aren't really enjoying Starfield, because the modders who have worked on some pretty high profile mods for Skyrim, like the multiplayer mods for Skyrim, they were working on a multiplayer mod for Starfield, and then they gave up because they just were not enjoying the game. They thought it was boring. They didn't want to waste their time on it.
I've never actually played Starfield, so I can't really speak to that one.
If you enjoy the game, then like all the power to you. I mean, games are subjective, and it's good. Any game is going to have its fans.
Well, here's the thing. I have spoke with people who've played it, and they all pretty much generally agree. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as people say. They've defended a certain points of them, but unanimously agreed. Yeah, it's not. It did not deserve the most innovative game of the year award. Not at all. Not even a little bit.
Skyrim in space.
I'm honestly even worse, because you can't explore in the same fashion. You just do fast traveling between planets rather than
load screens
space.
So there's nobody tells you they took an arrow in their knee?
It's probably a laser blast or some shit like that. But yeah, you actually. So I'm going to actually say that the one that stood out to me wasn't even the Starfield one. It was the Labor of Love winner.
Oh, yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2. Which, as we all know, is Rockstar abandoned that game.
Yeah. Not even last year. It was the year before last year. It wasn't even 2023 when they abandoned it. They abandoned it in 2022. They stopped putting out content for it.
Yeah, but yeah,
just like the child you never wanted to have, Labor of Love.
What the fuck?
I mean, it's like because Rockstar came out with GTA 5, and that became their golden goose. So they put all their eggs in that basket, and it's made them a shit ton of money. GTA Online is fucking massive.
It is.
Yeah,
it
so
is,
they gave up on Red Dead Redemption 2.
A Labor of Love winner go to a game that stopped receiving content updates, and it's like they literally put out tweets about not providing further content updates for Red Dead Redemption 2. A whole year before the award was what?
All
Yeah,
I can
well,
say
here's-
is not all people that play games actually pay attention to what the hell's going on in the community.
Well, it's
Very
not
fucking
just
not.
that, because one of the theories that's kind of like floating around is that this was mass troll voting.
Yeah, that is true.
Which-
that we do have to bring that piece up. Yeah,
Because-
again, it is community driven. So
Yeah, and communities sometimes just like to take the piss out of things. So why not make Starfield, where one of the biggest criticisms of the game is that Bethesda did not innovate and just kept doing the same thing? Why not make that win most innovative game? Like,
well, here's the
that's
thing.
something a troll would do, and that's something I
It
can
is-
actually see people gathering and pushing through in mass.
And I agree with you, Matt. It is probably a trolling
As sad as that is.
effort.
They do
But
it.
here's the thing with that. While funny and amusing in the moment, it takes away from the overall kind of positive aspect of something like Steam Awards,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the game that really should have won now doesn't get the exposure they should have gotten.
Oh yeah,
They don't get the influx of players that they should have gotten, the notoriety they should have gotten for something like this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And to be fair, though, I will say this, and this may be scathing. I don't give a shit. I've noticed that a lot of award ceremonies, the VGAs, Steam Awards, fucking Oscars, they've become a joke. They've become a fucking joke.
Oh yeah, like I saw a certain award.
I told you, man.
the
Next
other day.
year, this year now, it's
Yeah,
2024.
sure.
We're gonna have to do our own Game Awards thing.
Apparently, yeah, I know, and
Yeah,
actually
but-
have an award ceremony for games instead of a bunch of fucking commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see an award the other day that made me chuckle a bit because it's kind of obvious what they're doing. It was a PlayStation doing their own awards, and who won Game of the Year for that? The PlayStation exclusive Marvel Spider-Man 2, of course.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no, they PlayStation gave their biggest exclusive the Game of the Year award. Instead of the obvious Baldur's Gate 2 or 3 that
Are you fucking
is-
joking?
Well, it was.
I am not joking,
Come-
and I think that's hilarious because they're like, well, if the Game Awards aren't going to give us any awards, then we
we'll give
will.
ourselves awards.
Yeah, because
Let-
at the
so-
Game
so-
Awards,
let's be honest though. That is the only possible way that Spider-Man was going to win that award.
True,
Okay,
true.
I'm
Very
gonna give Spider-Man 2 its credit. Now, granted, I haven't played it, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I mean, the very fact that it got nominated eight
For 8
times
awards,
at the
yeah.
Game Awards is an accomplishment in of itself. It's
100%.
unfortunate it didn't win any, but that's still a very strong
That's-
showing, indicative of a good game.
That's, or you could say that they're just really good at losing.
It's like the jack of all trades bit,
Yeah.
jack of all trades but master of none. That was essentially Spider-Man 2's showing at the Game Awards.
Yeah,
But seeing
And that's
the
got to
PlayStation
be.
Awards
I mean,
push that as Game of the Year is just kind of made me laugh because
Yeah.
it just seems
that is kind of funny.
Eight
Of course they
nominations.
would.
8 nominations, and you didn't win any of them. That's like someone just decided to rub your nose in it. It's like
Yeah, a little bit.
It's
a
like,
little
You gotta-
like,
you
like
gotta
the guy
closet
on the
full.
Allstate commercial. Just got to try a little harder next time. You're almost there.
Yeah, no, I mean you got a closet full of silver medals. It's still impressive, but it's just
But-
that little bit of like there's no
It's like you
gold in
could
there.
you couldn't win one, just one.
Right.
Again,
and
I'm not taking a knock at the game or the people who made it. It's a good
It-
game from my understanding, and
And to be
You
fair,
know.
they were up against some serious competition. So
oh yeah,
like Alan Wake 2 for best narrative, which I still don't know how I won that one, but whatever.
Granted, I haven't played that one either, but
Me
again,
either.
it's another game I've heard nothing but good things about.
And for those of you who are wondering why I'm standing up, I'm stretching my legs. Unfortunately, I'm not like Greg. I can't afford a sit to stand desk. Be nice.
Hey,
Everyone-
I'm setting. I'm setting.
I know
today.
you're sitting,
Yeah.
but you have that option. I don't. I gotta stand sometimes.
Yeah, but that PlayStation Award just made me
Yeah, that
chuckle
shit-
because
that-
it's like,
I didn't even know
of course, PlayStation is going to give Game of the Year to their game.
Yeah.
I don't know that. That's
Yeah,
kind of funny. And Sony, if you're listening, shame on you.
we see
Shame
you.
on.
You're not fooling anyone. It'd be
Yeah.
like Nintendo coming out with their Game of the Year, and
Yeah,
it's
you ain't fooling nobody.
Tears of the Kingdom, which granted, Tears of the Kingdom was a solid ass game. If Baldur's Gate 3 didn't come out, I think Tears of the Kingdom would have gotten Game of the Year.
Yeah, 100%.
Like when it came out, everyone was like, "Yeah, no, this is shooting for Game of the Year." And then Baldur's Gate 3 came out, and it's like,
nope.
God damn it!
Yeah, but so do we see you, and you do better.
I salute you, but someone came out.
Quit being a salty ass fucking studio. All right, you got beat. Okay, at least you could say you got beat by something that was worth losing against. Okay?
Just to close on that, close out on that. I don't want to close that piece, but I mean, I just wanted to, 8 nominations is a pretty solid showing. It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that's nothing to be ashamed of. But
no, they should be very proud of that.
Yeah, it would have been nice if they would have won something.
Yeah.
But. And here's a key question for you though. In the Sony Awards, did they recognize any other game companies, or was it all basically just their games?
Pretty sure it's probably all their games. I'll bet
because
I haven't looked that far into it.
If it's all their games, then maybe they're right. Are their games? Maybe that one is Game of the Year.
Maybe.
Yeah, granted, I haven't looked that far into it, so I don't know all of what went into that award. But I just saw that bit, and it kind of made me chuckle a bit.
Rightfully so, because I mean, you could taste the salt. You could taste the salt.
The obvious Game of the Year is Baldur's Gate 3. Like, whether you enjoy it or not, you can't deny the impact it had and the overwhelming popularity it has.
And here's the thing: that's a really good transition into our next topic, which is Baldur's Gate 3.
I think Phantom Liberty got ripped off, but anyway. Okay.
I mean, Cyberpunk had quite a few nominations as well. They had a strong showing at the Game Awards.
They did.
As well.
I think they had 6 nominations, something like that.
Yeah.
Between 2077, like as a whole, and Phantom Liberty, there are quite a few nominations.
Yeah. I do think they should have won Labor of Love in the VGAs. That's just my personal opinion. Because they have done a number of updates and Phantom Liberty is fantastic from all I've heard. I'm in the process of playing through it again. So
again,
to take that with a grain of salt. But back to BG3, Baldur's Gate 3.
I could shoot you right now. Again, playing through it again.
Well, I mean, I got to play through it in the proper order because Phantom Liberty kind of weaves into the story in there. It's not like most expansions where it comes up on the end.
I haven't actually been able to play through that yet, but one of these days.
It's between the first act and the second act, I believe, from what I've seen. But Baldur's Gate 3 is again still pulling. Here's the thing with Baldur's Gate 3: it's so good. It's still pulling in. I mean, it's pulling in numbers that are comparable to live service games 6 months or near enough after its release.
Yeah, in terms of like active players, like people that are still
they're still in the 100. Like I think the last time I checked was a couple of days ago, and they're almost at 300,000 concurrent players in like a 24-hour period or something like that. Some close to that. They're in the high 6 figures. Well, not high. We'll say kind of low to mid 6 figures. Still one of the most played games. They're still kind of at the top of the top sellers in Steam. Still one of the most, if not the most played game of the last 6 months at the least, last year period. They're still riding that high, and Larian Studios still continues to put out quality pieces of content and updates for them. I mean, the modding community has gone absolutely nuts. I finally kind of broke down and decided, you know what, I'm gonna mod this a little bit, and I did. And I gotta say,
fucking guns in there.
Yeah. I did not put no guns. I did not put a 1911 Colt in my fucking BG3 game. But yes,
I can see it now. Matt's character is going to be a gnome, a gnome with a rocket launcher.
No, nah. I already know there's a goblin mod. Goblin with a rocket launcher.
Oh, like you would fucking play a goblin.
I would. In World of Warcraft, my main was a goblin. All right, and it was a hunter, and I used a gun. His name was Don Capone because I went for the gangster, the mafia bit.
Don Capone.
Don Capone. I give him he had like a pompadour and everything. He was great.
You fucking nerd.
But like, just to kind of say like how many people are still playing Baldur's Gate 3 right now on the Steam charts for active players. Got 179,000.
And that's just on the Steam charts.
Yeah, that's on the Steam charts. So, and like that's for a game that's like by now about half a year old.
Coming on.
Is not like a live service game. Like pulling in numbers like that's fucking crazy.
Most live service games don't have numbers like that.
Yeah, no, they wish they did.
Yeah. So here's the thing, like Baldur's Gate 3 is still just killing it. Just across the board killing for multiple reasons. Number one, obviously the community, the modding community, and the community in general, the success the game saw at the VGAs, but just the fact and this is the biggest fact. Put all that other stuff aside, it's that good of a fucking game.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Period. It is that good of a game. So the other AAA studios that were knocking it when it first came out and bitching and moaning and complaining, we can't do this, don't hold us to shut the fuck up. Put on your big boy and big girl pants and get to fucking work.
But yeah, they don't want the bar to be raised because Baldur's Gate 3 is a game like what Larian
not
made.
Fair.
Quit being a bunch of lazy motherfuckers. Quit sitting behind your computer and going on Twitter and bitching.
It's not fair.
And get to fucking work.
Yeah, because like what Larian Studios did, and I'm gonna give a lot of credit to their CEO Sven Vink,
my man,
as a man who cares about the creative process. Like he refused an offer from Microsoft to acquire Larian Studios because he wanted to retain his control over his own company so he could run it the way he wanted to. When at the Game Awards, he showed up in a suit of fucking armor to accept his award.
Sat there
while he was giving a speech, you could hear it clanking as he was like, moving. The man is a total fucking nerd, and he loves the game that his company is making. And the fact that you can tell that like. And I think that creates a wonderful synergy when both the people at the top and the workers are both doing everything they can to make a quality product that isn't trying to, milk as much money out of the players as possible, but rather respects the player.
Yep. And he's at the helm. So studios, if you're take note. Take fucking note.
Yeah, well,
you guys got into gaming. Go ahead, Greg. Sorry.
Oh, it's a people first culture.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's really what it comes down to. It's a people first culture.
Holy shit! It fucking worked because Larian Studio, they're not like this huge AAA studio.
I'd say they're more of a AA studio at this point.
Yeah, but they came out with a fucking banger because they created a game. They did not compromise on its quality. I mean, I'm sure there were some features that probably that's natural to any game development.
Yeah,
but they made sure it's a quality game, and they treat their players with fucking respect. They don't try to shove, DLC or microtransactions or all that bullshit in their face. They just deliver the best experience they possibly could to the player, and that shows.
And here's the thing:
it's a different type. It's a different type of business model, because it's not focused on the profit motive, and it really is taking it in the direction of saying, "Hey, look, we make really good product. If you buy the product, we can continue to make really good product."
Yep.
Yeah, so people love crazy. Crazy that works, huh?
That's the piece that I'm getting at is this is not the first time they've done this. They have Divinity Original Sin, Divinity Original Sin 2, both critically acclaimed games.
Oh, yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3. Like this is a proven track record of we're gonna make the best possible thing that we can make without nickel and diming you, and hopefully you're gonna like it. And here's the thing: people fucking love their shit,
Yeah.
and they're gonna continue to love it as long as Larian Studios continues to put out the quality of stuff that they do. And honestly, with the success of Baldur's Gate 3, I think that's only going to go up from here for them. As long as they keep that same mentality, and with Sven Vink at the helm, and the fact that he owns his company, he's majority share in the company, and he can direct it where he feels it's best. They're going to continue to put out quality shit. And I pray and hope that they never sell, because that means that's one studio that's going to continue to produce stuff that their people want to see, and they're going to do it in a way that's going to respect their player base.
Yeah, and this is why like I have a problem with a lot of modern companies like Activision Blizzard, because Larian Studios and the way Sven Vink is running it cares about the long term, like the long term health of the company and their products by making sure it's just fucking good, and that they aren't like trying to harm their own audience. Compare that to Activision Blizzard, where they're constantly lessening the quality of their games while chasing monetization. They are chasing those short-term profits, and they are constantly losing players.
Yeah.
Diablo 4 has lost a vast amount of its players. Like Overwatch 2 has lost a lot of players because people are not happy with the way they're treating the games. They aren't happy with how much the monetization is shoved down their throats. And like Call of Duty, also the latest one, people didn't fucking like it. No one's like, hardly anyone is playing it now.
Christopher Judge even ripped on it in the VGAs.
Oh yeah. Talked about how short its campaign was, because I've
his
seen
speech
people
is longer than that. His speech is like 8 minutes.
Yeah, I've seen some videos that went to pretty in length reviewing its campaign, and it's not good. It's short. It's badly written. The works.
And the sad part is, it wasn't Modern Warfare 3 supposed to be an expansion?
It was supposed to be an expansion for another Call of Duty game. I don't keep up too much with the Call of Duty franchise. But yeah, they decided to turn it into a full ass game with a full ass price tag, and
give you an expansion level kind of game.
Yeah, and so that's the attitude that Activision Blizzard has. They keep chasing that short term profits. We keep seeing that even now with the talk of $100 expansion for Diablo 4, and that keeps pushing people away, and so people are leaving their games. That's not going to be a sustainable business practice, because eventually people are going to leave. Business profits are going to fall.
Well, that's already happening. Activision Blizzard's a legacy company, and you watch what happens to, and even outside of this particular industry, I can name a few for you, and you can see the direction they're going. Not saying that this can't turn around for that company, because I believe wholeheartedly that it can. And it's not that they can't create great product. It's just they've got to change their focus. But, to give you an idea of the path they're on, Circuit City, Best Buy, or not Best Buy, I'm sorry, well, Best Buy was on that path for a while too. Blockbuster Video, BlackBerry, these are some companies that were on that path for a long time, and they refused to change their business model. They were at the top of the market, controlling market share, and they felt like, well, hey, we did it. We're the kings now. And 20 years later, where are they at? Gone. Radio Shack's another one.
Left.
Yeah, there's one left. I forget which state it was in, but they're still running. It's
Utah.
Utah.
No.
That would. Wait,
is it?
Oregon.
It's like
Oregon. Sorry. Yeah, we looked it up the other day. I thought.
And you might be right. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's in Oregon.
Yeah,
Bend, Oregon. That's where
Oregon.
it is.
Gonna have to take a trip to Bend, Oregon, and get me some Blockbuster.
Yeah, those are the fucking days.
Yo, they really
and then
were.
Netflix happened.
Only,
Yeah.
only if they have a Domino's. They don't have a Domino's, and
That's
I'm not
true,
getting any
yeah.
Blockbuster.
That's true. That's true.
Maybe Papa John's. Maybe.
Or Pizza Hut.
maybe.
Pizza Hut's good too.
Yeah.
Pizza
yeah.
Hut's fallen off. We're talking about companies that have fallen
yeah.
off. Pizza Hut has fallen off hard.
Yeah.
Domino's. I used to
Domino's
work
is way
for Pizza Hut. I used to work for Pizza Hut a long time ago as a delivery guy. That was back when their pizzas were still good. They have like
I don't know.
crust options. You can put like sauce drizzles on your pizza. You can do all sorts of shit. It was great.
I might
Last
be
time
able
I got
to.
Pizza Hut, dog shit.
Whoa, wow, man! I was just gonna say I might be able to say something good about Pizza Hut, but I guess I would have to.
They've fallen off, man.
That took that personally, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't know. I had a fantastic fucking deal as an employee where I could get because I was an employee, I could get a personal pan pizza and like a 20-ounce drink for just $1. Fantastic fucking deal. It was the best fucking thing to do after like a long shift to get one of those, and a fresh personal pan pizza. That was some good shit right there.
The only thing better would be if they fed their employees for free, maybe, like free drink and
I've
free
never
personal
come
pan
across,
pizza.
I've never come across. I've worked several jobs in the food industry. I've never seen one that their policy is free food. I usually
they probably figure that you're grazing anyway the whole time, so you might as well pay something.
Well, here's the thing: most places I worked, I could still get the free food as long as it wasn't like the manager. It was just like a shift leader, because most of the shift leaders and stuff, they didn't give a shit. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, no, go ahead."
Yep.
It was only when the manager was in.
Or work in a restaurant. We were always eating the restaurants. Boy, I worked at an Italian bistro as a line cook. We were always fucking eating.
Yeah.
I probably gained like 10 pounds that summer. It was great.
Oh yeah, it's like, oh no, customers sent their food back without touching it because we did it wrong. What are we gonna do with that?
See, that's the bad part right there, because that's when your cooks will deliberately start making things wrong. They're like, oh man, I could really go for a steak. He wanted his done. I don't know, over easy maybe. Whatever.
I don't doubt that people have done that, but in my experience,
you're allergic to garlic. I put garlic in that.
The most common thing in my experience when it comes to like returns like that is customer didn't read the fucking menu.
Pretty much, yeah.
Why does this have mayo in it, bitch? Did you read the menu? It says it's got mayo.
Oh my god! Don't let this guy near customer service, please.
I always work back at house. I don't want to deal with customers.
Me neither. Same. I fucking hate customers.
I'll remake their food, fine, whatever. Just don't let me talk to them.
Yeah.
But back on track. Like talking about like
we were wandering again.
Yeah.
I mean,
once again,
that never happens.
Like when it comes to like the way a lot of these companies are running their, the game companies, is that we're seeing why Larian is growing at the rate they are, because they aren't chasing that short-term profit. They're not going for that low-hanging fruit. No, they're trying to make something genuine, of genuine quality, and doing right by their community.
Yeah. They're looking looking for that longevity.
Yeah, and it's working. And it's like, Activision Blizzard has the talent at that company to be capable of the same thing. As you said, it's
they've had
a
bunch of
legacy
layoffs, so maybe not anymore.
maybe look, even with their more even with Overwatch, Diablo, each of those games, there's a good game underneath the bullshit. There are talented people at that company who are doing the best that they can, but the leadership there keeps burying a good game under all their bullshit of trying to squeeze as much money out of their players as possible. And
you know who else is guilty of that?
Ubisoft. I mean, I know there's quite a few, honestly.
Closed, but Unity.
Unity. Oh yeah, Unity.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Unity's doing.
We've never talked about Unity before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
no.
speaking of layoffs, so there was a recent one actually just came out
Unity
today.
never lays people off. What are you talking
Um,
about?
coming out to today about Unity has laid off about 25% of its staff in the last, I want to say 2 or 3 days. It might have been
Yeah,
today. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was the last couple days. They've laid off about 25 of their staff.
They didn't need all those people anyway.
25%.
25%, and that
That's a
amounts
lot of
for about
people.
1,800 people just lost their jobs.
See
Yeah.
that's because they went out and just gave a bunch of people jobs because they were, being good stewards, and they gave a bunch of people jobs because they needed jobs and
Yeah.
You
right?
sound
Yeah.
like a crotchety old man right now, Craig.
Yeah, yeah, and
But
Unity is another one of those companies doing that same
uh,
thing. Because
yeah,
I mean, we've talked about Unity before and the bullshit that they pulled earlier in the year.
hmm
Trying to
remind the audience what that
the
is.
runtime fee,
Yeah.
which essentially would have charged developers a fee per install of their game. So each
Mhm.
time a person installed a game on their device, a charge would be sent to the
To the
developer, which went up to 20 cents per install. That was the max. If you had like certain other subscription plans to Unity, or the amount of games that you've shipped could drive that price per install down. But the big thing about that was that I mean there's a lot of things about that where
Yeah,
one
we
in
covered that in a earlier episode. So if you guys are interested in the long story of that, highly suggest you watch that one.
yeah, like long story short, the developers were not fucking happy because it was an attack on them.
So here's some complete nonsense hyperbole for you, but just imagine if in some world somewhere there was a company that had people who develop products to go with their product, and they created a contract where they could charge those developers every time somebody downloaded it, and then they went and hired a bunch of people to just download it, delete it every day.
Well, now granted that bit was covered because it was per like initial install.
Yeah, per initial
So,
install.
like you would get like the person would get charged if you like downloaded it onto their PC, but also downloaded their game onto like their their smartphone or whatever other
their
consoles they have.
handheld or whatever. Yep.
Each of those would get a charge, but if you downloaded it onto your PC, deleted it, and reinstalled it, that would not. The subsequent installs would not get charged.
But yeah, but again, guys, for those who are kind of sitting there, well, 20 cents is not a lot. But here's the thing: think 20 cents not a lot, but spread that over hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people downloading it once on their PC. Now multiply that by 4 times on their phone, on their handheld, on their console. Most studios, even AAA studios, couldn't fit the bill for that. Now look at a smaller indie developer. They'd go under almost immediately.
Oh yeah, especially if their game isn't even like a full price $60 game.
Yeah,
there are many indie games,
$20 game, $15 game,
even less. Like there's a game
$5
like Vampire Survivors, a fantastic indie game. It's like
$5.
not even. Like I want to say it's like 2, 3, somewhere in that ballpark. Very cheap, but a lot of bang for that buck.
Mhm.
And because it's cheap, like a lot of people are going to buy it because it's just like $2 or $3. You hear it's a good game, it's that fucking cheap. Why not get it?
Yeah.
And that's like a valid business tactic. But when you get charged per install like that, suddenly that kind of business tactic,
cheap and good, is hard to find anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it gets, because it's unlimited distribution via digital distribution, you can do that, and so a lot of people will get it. But that runtime fee punishes that very thing, and developers wouldn't take that lying down, so they'd have to increase the cost of their games, which would then get passed on to us, the consumers. It was a bad deal for everyone involved.
Yeah, it did not go over well, and people were not happy. And again, we did cover kind of what what all transpired according to that. However, another company that is apparently laying off a number of people that kind of came out today. Very own Twitch TV is laying off 30% or around 500 workers of their workforce. Reported today by Bloomberg. They've had a tumultuous 2023 recently in it was a tail end of 2023 with their whole artistic nudity situation.
That 24 hours of pure chaos.
Yeah, which basically turned Twitch into OnlyFans for a moment there. Unfortunately, also because of
OnlyFans
the
Light.
yeah, pretty much, essentially what it was. Not that much has changed. I still see the hot tub freaking streamers out there. Yeah, I'm calling y'all out.
No shade. Come on now. No shade.
Fucking ridiculous. But unfortunately, that all of this has kind of led to Twitch also closing down in Korea. They had to close their offices in Korea and to kind of close up shop because apparently it was too expensive for them. So seems like the good times just keep on rolling for the industry.
Well, you know, that Jeff Bezos guy. I mean, life's tough when you know.
You have hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked a lot about the gaming industry and the layoffs within the gaming industry, but the tech industry has entertainment also, but tech industry as a whole has seen mass layoffs over 2023, and I mean, with what just happened with Twitch, it's Twitch and Unity, it's rolling on into 2024.
Yeah, we're not even a month in, and the shit's still hitting the fan.
Yeah, so that those mass layoffs, they're still going on. Unfortunately, I wish it wasn't. It's shitty that thousands of people are losing their jobs, but yeah.
But there is one bright spot coming down the future. For those who love VTM, they are coming out with the Bloodlines too. Finally.
Man, you just had to go and ruin our whole shtick.
20 years.
We need some positive. we gotta end this shit on a positive note. All right.
Almost 20 years. I'm pretty sure it's. When did VTM come? I think it was 2004. Bloodlines. Oh. VTM Bloodlines came out in November 16th, 2004. So almost 20 years. Did it come out in 94? 2004.
Yeah, that's what Shadow's Real Box says. 94.
Oh goddamn.
It came out in 94. Really?
She's right, no matter what you say, Rob.
Apparently she was wrong.
Not.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure it came out in 2004. Yeah, November 16th, 2004.
I was gunning for you. Come on now.
Troika Games. Yeah, Troika Games. Designers on it were one Tim Kaine who more on him later. We're gonna be talking about that more later, hopefully. But with that bit of good news out of the way, we got some closing statements.
Housekeeping.
Yeah.
I was never a very good housekeeper, by the way. Just something about the short skirt thing. I just didn't get into that.
Please don't put that image in my head, please. I don't need it. I don't need it.
I'm just imagining Greg in a French maid costume.
No.
You can imagine whatever you want, but just remember one thing: it is only ever going to be in your head. So,
maybe that's
I hope so.
200 follower count goal.
No.
We put that shit out there. We'll get so many follows. All right,
you got to take a different path here. Try again. No.
You got to commit, sell your soul to get the follows.
No, I will not be selling my soul for nothing. No, I'm sorry. There's no amount of followers.
They're afraid.
Yeah,
Eat
yeah, I
steak,
am.
drink whiskey, and do not wear skirts. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's in my contract.
just tell yourself like, no, I'm doing like what the Scotsmen do. This isn't a
That's
isn't
a-
a skirt.
that's
It's
a kilt.
It's a
Bullshit,
kilt.
motherfucker!
You're-
I've
you're
worn a kilt
talking-
before. They are not the same.
You're talking about
this isn't
maid
a
outfits. If
isn't,
you do it,
Look
I
at
will.
that.
I will.
Even Kirby doesn't agree with you.
No, he got too excited thinking about it. Like,
Wow.
This isn't a dress. It's wizard robes. Ooh.
Oh my
You know,
god!
it's all about your perspective.
I've worn robes before, for sure.
Yeah, see,
You know.
it's the same thing.
No, there will be no
Matt,
waifu made outfit.
you're yeah. Come on back, buddy. Come on back.
Hell no. A kilt I'll wear. I've worn a kilt before. They're fucking fantastic. But a maid outfit, hell.
Matt's talking about how
Matt,
he's going to try that out someday.
Yeah, you can wear the maid outfit. You can wear it. You have the hair for
Hey,
it.
it goes with your hair, yeah. Oh shoot,
I think you left. I think you got back.
we got it. I lost his connection. There he is. He's back. He didn't run away.
See, you
Mm-mm.
told me you're trying to put it on me, and then Streamlabs decided to cut me out. It's telling me it doesn't have. It can't be me. It's not supposed to be me.
Well, it's supposed to be you.
Uh-oh.
It's the guy who dropped.
Rob, you're
Nah.
we better change the subject here because you have people conspiring
there-
against
no-
you.
Okay,
There will
yeah,
be no
let's
maid
let's do it, Shadow. Yeah.
No, there will not. There will be welcome in Pacifica Dawn.
Skin-
No, there will be
skin-
no.
Oh yeah.
There will be no
I
armored
will-
tongue
bikini
here.
I will
Let's
buy
go.
that. I will buy that if you can get him to wear it. I will buy it.
Oh,
Yeah,
Nah.
man. Dude.
good luck though. Closing statements before this chat becomes a bunch of fucking
We're
degenerates.
Yes.
we're already degenerates. Well, I mean, never mind.
No. Moving on. Greg, what do we have going on tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow evening we have part 2 of Staying Vigilant for our Cyberpunk
yes.
game. Yes, so we get to close off Staying Vigilant. We ran. We're probably about halfway through that module. It's meant to be a one shot, but we're just slow that way, you know.
Let's take our time.
Yeah,
get
we have
lost
fun
in the
with
sauce.
it. We do. You bet.
Mhm.
Hey, I like sauce, so it's all good.
Yeah, actually, I gotta go make some dinner.
So,
I make some pasta.
so that'll be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night we'll be finishing off that Cyberpunk run. It's actually an adventure coming straight out of Tales of the Red. So if you haven't checked that out, please do. There's actually 9 missions in there, and all of them are very interesting. We're probably going to do one more mission out of there, maybe. And then after so about 2 weeks apiece, we'll probably be running Cyberpunk for the next 2 to 4 weeks. And then we're going to do a one shot of Mutant Year Zero, which the more I look at that system, the more interested I am in that system. But Matt is going to be running that. Matt, would you like to, got anything that you want to share about that? Get us excited?
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be a one shot. But you know, it's a wacky system, and you know me, I'm a wacky guy, so expect me to throw some weird shit at you, because that I live for that.
I'm all about weird shit. Weird shit's good. And we're probably going to throw in I really want to throw in a test run of like The Walking Dead, because that system just came out. We haven't.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of a chance to talk with the game developers with Free League Press, who we work with.
Matthias Johnson. Yep.
Yep. And I'm a Walking Dead kind of guy. I'm almost there myself. So I definitely want to try that game out. So that may be a thing. We have a few other one-shots that we got to do to kind of support the community creators that we have had on the show. And we also have some more creators coming up. think that goes back to you, Rob.
Yes, we do have some creators that we'll be getting set up some as we did in 2023 interviews with, talking about the systems, updates, new drops, stuff like that. That will be coming in soon. We have a number of people that we're kind of working to get on the update log, schedules and whatnot.
We're right now we're working on a
Yes, that's what I was going to mention next.
what we're doing besides streaming right now. So we are working on a special module for Cyberpunk that we're going to be introducing at GaryCon in March. So you'll hear about it, but you're not going to be able to see it unless you're actually at GaryCon or you join us via the virtual tabletops for GaryCon, because I do believe Matt and Rob are going to be running some virtual games for GaryCon. I will be at GaryCon in person running games all 4 days. So I'm going to be one tired puppy. But
yes, we'll also be getting to hang out with freaking Mike Pondsmith.
Yep. Pondsmith and crew are going to be there for one, to support the 50th anniversary of D&D Gary Gygax. But for two, they're also going to be repping Cyberpunk, and they're coming down. They're bringing some of their folks to help support us playing, running their games. So we're going to be running some Cyberpunk. We're going to be running some Witcher. And still, verdict is kind of out whether we might do something with something else.
For those of you keeping up with Artalstorian Games, they have again officially announced the official name of Project Blue Moon, which is Shadowscar, and they've got a couple of other things in the works that they may or may not be showcasing at GaryCon. Definitely at Gen Con, of course, but GaryCon they might be showcasing a couple of things. In terms of the Cyberpunk piece, I know they have talked about the Edgerunners mission kit.
Mm-hmm.
I think they said they would be showcasing that at GaryCon.
No, that was it was showcased at PAX Unplugged at the beginning of December. They're not going to have, as of right now, they're not going to have a booth at GaryCon. So it'll really be that rep piece will be, Mike will be there in person. I don't know who else is actually. Cody did mention when he sat down with us, he did mention it was possible. And we're gonna for sure have Rob Barefoot there, and I'm not sure who else. I mean, Jay Gray might be there. Who knows?
So so that's what we got coming up. If you do want to keep kept up to date on everything, join our Discord. That's kind of where we reside almost all the time. So you can talk to us directly there. Our Twitter, our TikTok, YouTube, just the socials that are linked in the chat.
Artists, or what is that? How should we put that? The platform formerly known as Twitter.
I just call it Twitter because I'm too late.
I'm not calling it X. It's Twitter. On Twitter you do tweets.
That's probably a good idea because X just makes me think of my ex. I'd rather just say Twitter could too, I guess. But anyway.
Yeah, Twitter version 2, I guess. I don't fucking know. I'm not even gonna hazard a guess as why they fucking changed the name, but whatever.
Because
Elon likes X. Yes.
No, he has a strange love for the letter X. He's got SpaceX. One of his children has a very weird name that starts with the letter X. The man thinks the letter X is the coolest fucking shit ever.
Apparently.
I don't know how that came to be, but that's how it is.
Answer. It is the answer to the riddle that we all don't know. X.
Yep. That's actually a very good way to fucking put it. Yes, it is. But with that said, join us next next week.
Tomorrow. Join us tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Sorry,
Don't
join us
forget.
tomorrow for the second half of Stay Vigilant. But join us next week for our episode 36 of the Update Log,
And
where we may or may not be, and this is a reminder to Greg and Matt, we might be simulcasting that night.
we're simulcasting right now.
Are we?
Yeah.
Look at that. I didn't even fucking know.
We're simulcasting on YouTube right now as we
Right now?
speak. Yeah.
Shit, no one told me. See, these guys don't tell me anything.
Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
Wow.
And thank you,
Thank
Pacific
you.
Dom, for the
Yes,
follow.
thank you very much, Pacific Dawn. All right, guys. So I think that that puts us done for tonight. Hopefully, we'll see everybody tomorrow night. Come check out our game, and check out our players. We have a fantastic crew of folks that play with us, and help create some really great story. So with that,
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for the follow, Pacific Dawn. Much appreciated.
I think I will. I'm not sure how this is going to work. I am going to do this and see how this works, because I'm going to raid into a different channel, and we'll see where things go from there. So we'll head over to Dungeon Crawlers. We'll go check them out tonight. Everybody have a fantastic night. We'll see you tomorrow night. Same time.
Yeah.
Same place.
Same time, same place. All right, you guys have a good one. Adios.
Yep.
And my wonderful timing skills strike again.
Always. Greg's always late.
We
Which is ironic because he's always early for meetings.
Yeah, we gotta have this awkward bit here before the raid goes up. Like,
I get
what
some,
do we talk about?
I get into the conversation and all these wonderful things, and then it's like I don't want it to